I creep myself out sometimes, and sometimes I'll just have to walk away and go, wow, where'd that come from? But a lot of Impossible Landscapes these days, I get messages and I don't recall writing any of that.
Hello. That was Dennis Detwiller of Arc Dream Publishing's Delta Green RPG. And maybe that'll be the excuse Dennis gives for some of his past tweets, which are actually the focus of today's short video. I recently ran afoul of Mr. Detwiller on Twitter. I actually had no idea who he was at first. I had heard of Delta Green, and I don't think we ever played that game. He was also on Godlike, another game I never really had much interest in. For those of you that don't know, Delta Green started as a supplement for Call of Cthulhu back in the 1990s. It's essentially the Cthulhu mythos meets the X-Files. And I can certainly understand the allure back then, when conspiracy paranoia was very much in the mainstream. And that game grew from a source book to its own RPG in 2016. Dennis Detwiller has been intimately involved in both the Chaosium version and now the Arc Dream Publishing version. In fact, he is a co-founder of Arc Dream. So if you couldn't tell, like so many people, Dennis comes off a little different in person than he does on Twitter. He seems very much a keyboard warrior. And as I am filming this video, it's June, which means it's pandering month. Oh, I'm sorry, Pride Month for so many people and companies out there. Dennis put out a tweet, which we've seen so many versions of in the past several years. Of course, the most famous version is Kelly Sue DeConnick.
And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. Problem solved.
But she's hardly the only one making these silly challenges that are just bound to blow up in these people's faces. In fact, given the state of mainstream comics, it's a wonder that more folks haven't taken notice of stupid boasts like this. This is the one tweet that initially drew my attention. Yet another cringe-inducing, virtue-signaling nonsense tweet, garnished with a slight twist of false machismo. After seeing Dennis in that video, I'm going to guess he has to dig pretty deep when engaging in this kind of bravado. I don't think it comes naturally to him. But that tweet did make me want to engage with old Dennis just a little bit. And this in turn led me to start looking a little deeper into his history. And boy, does this guy hate Christians. It goes beyond the usual edgy Twitter atheism we've all come to know and loathe. He has a vendetta of some kind, as you can plainly see. Now look, leftism and Christianity are not really that compatible, So I'm sure there's a lot of people and companies that I focus on for this channel that probably feel the exact same way old Dennis does about Christianity. But they generally focus on tearing down white people in general. Maybe because they figured out something Dennis hasn't. For by tearing down all Christians, Dennis reveals both his ignorance and racism. The more traditional kind in this case. You see, 83% of Black Americans identify themselves as Christians. Dennis, this is what the Europeans call an own goal. How does it feel to be not just a religious bigot, but a despicable racist, too? You earned it, pal. Pat yourself on the back. The odd thing is that woke corporations and these leftist, mid-level government apparatchik are working hand in hand more and more these days. The only conspiracies we are seeing, imagined and more increasingly real, seem to be the left-leaning kind. After the last 6 or 7 years, it's kind of hard to imagine a room full of old, rich, white Republican men setting unofficial policy when it's increasingly radical leftists like AOC that are steering the governmental bus. A game like Delta Green seems strangely at odds with the current social climate, especially when you consider the person writing it. I'd actually be more apt to try something like Wretched Conspiracies from Red Room, Invisible College from RPG Pundit. The authors of these games are not bigots and racists, like Mr. Detwiller. It still strikes me as so odd that somebody who's trying to sell a product is perfectly fine with going out of their way to offend people, and not just people in their target range. You see, a tweet like his original one may have the unintended consequence of offending people in the middle, people who just want to be left alone, who maybe don't identify themselves as strongly political either way. But, you know, they see something like this, and it just turns them off. And I wish more people in pop culture would realize that lesson. They seem to be just fine with having half the market when they could have so much more, if they would just keep their mouths closed. Well, that's all for today. We will talk to you guys very, very soon. If you like what you see here, as well as other things, I'm doing live plays, and I do occasional advice videos. You can subscribe to the channel, and that would help me out a great deal. If nothing else, go ahead and throw a like on this video, and we'll call it even. All right, you guys take care. We will talk very, very soon. We have the live stream, the weekly live stream, The Lair, which we have a lot of fun with, coming up every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope I see you guys there. All right, take care. Hey there, it's your boy Double D, and I want to tell you about a great offer from our friends over at Neckbeardia. That's right. We all love James and Megan, and I am happy to say they love us too. That's why they are offering a 10% discount on everything in their store just for my audience. If you haven't done so already, check it out at the link in the description below. They work with a fantastic 3D artist to offer you miniatures with detail you have to see to believe. No need to print anything out. They will take care of that messy and smelly business on their end. All you need to do is pick out your next character or the next group of monsters your party is going to fight. They also have some pretty hilarious subclasses for you guys that are still playing 5th edition, all for less than a cup of coffee. They have adventures, Atomic Punk 2160 by the Basic Expert, t-shirts, and a lot more. Why not support people that don't hate you? Use the promo code DND10 for 10% off your order. And remember that shipping is free for orders over 50 pounds. That's just a little bit over $60 US. Visit them today, and don't forget to use the promo code DND10.
What qualifies you to be a U.S. Senator? You have 60 seconds.
Hi, good night, everybody.